What is up? Justin Brock here with Go Guru, Bobby Brock Insurance, BBI. And today I have a guest with me, and that is Evan MacGuffie.
You got it.
Boom. Not McGoofy, MacGuffie.
You know, it's funny you mention that. You know, if you read it phonetically, it's McGuffie, but gym teacher, sub teacher.
Yeah.
I'm Evan McGoofie my first 12 years of my life.
McGoofy.
Yeah.
I could say, like, if, when I was in the military or like back in, high school sports or something, if that was my name, I just get yelled at Brock all the time. So.
Well, that's the guy from Pokemon is Brock, I think.
Yeah. They would just yell that name for some reason. So in high school, I wasn't Justin, I was Brock.
Okay.
All the time. So.
Gotcha.
But McGuffie, Evan McGuffie, so founder of MediZues. And MediZues has been creating a little buzz because it is a tool that, it's like it came out of nowhere with a solution to a problem. And for some reason, no one else had taken the time to really build the quick solution. And the solution is, or the problem is, your clients are changed from a Medicare Advantage plan or a Part D prescription drug plan that you wrote them with good information, you did a great job, and then someone calls them out of the blue, changes them. Sometimes they know they changed, sometimes they don't really realize they changed, or maybe they were, not the most lucid client at that state, whatever. But by the time you find out about it, you're not even allowed to call them because they changed their plan and, the guidelines, or you can't call them back, but this gives you that insight of the application is submitted, and you can call them before the new plan ever goes into effect because you're still the agent of record, which is a cool, thing. Plus, it's going to keep your business cleaner. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they maybe did change to another agent. And you need to find out, like, why did they change to another agent? What did I do? And if you call them back, they'll be like, what, that was a mistake. I would say probably more often than not, the response when you call those people back, finding out they changed, is you can actually win that business back.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So tell me, Evan, before we get into MediZues,
Mm-hmm.
And our partnership with Go Guru with MediZues, it's going to be, huge for the agencies that use Go Guru, that work with us as an FMO. But it's already a huge hit with tons and tons of agencies and agents around. Yeah. And it's priced for the individual agent to be able to take advantage of it. It's not priced. Some software that's out there is priced where only like an FMO can afford it.
Right.
But you guys have the individual pricing structure, which is great. It's accessible. Tell me, what got you into insurance? Because you're an insurance agent.
I'm an insurance agent first, a software founder second.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell me how long you've been in it, what got you into it, kind of that story. I want to know the Evan story.
Sounds good. So the Evan story starts February of 2020. I was living in Las Vegas, and I was running a club crawl on the Vegas Strip. It's kind of like a pub crawl, but with clubs.
Gotcha.
And my job, I did that for a year. My job was to take about 100, 150 drunk people every night from bar to bar, club to club, and show them a good time.
Yeah.
Right? I was the host. And I got my insurance license because I went to a meeting and they talked about life insurance, sales, XYZ. I'm like, oh shit, I need to do that. I need to get on that. I need to get can we swear? I need to get my shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got my insurance license.
This isn't CNN or NBC.
Okay, cool. So that was in February. March 2020, we all know what happened at that point.
Yeah.
COVID hit. The Strip shuts down. I have an insurance license. There's a ton of final expense leads. I go to work. And this is with FFL. And I did really well with them. I was a Hall of Fame producer at age 24, which is $400,000 in issue paid. I did $405,000 in a 12-month period. And I spoke at a convention. I opened up an office with Sean Mike and Paul McLean. It was pretty epic. And I was doing well with life insurance and building up a team. We were doing about $100,000 to $120,000 a month, which, not anything crazy, but that was after 9 months of building it. Like that was 9 months after me selling my first policy, which I was really proud of. And I was saying to myself, Justin, at that time I was really good at sales. And sales and managing, as you know, are two totally different skills. Some people are cut out for one, some people are cut out for another. I'm 100% cut out for sales. Managing, different skill set. Didn't have it at the time, arguably still don't have it. And I say that to say that the agents that I was helping, it was cool. I was getting an extra $5-10 a month in overrides. But the bullshit that I had to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and part of it's my fault, right? Not setting expectations correctly, right? Not having systems to follow up with agents and answer questions so that it's all the pressure isn't on me. But I felt just like I was a big ass babysitter and putting out fires, and I was like, you know what, 5-10 grand a month, not worth the extra headache. I'm gonna give this to my main guy, put him at the top comp, give it to my main guy, and let him run with it. He's in it to win it. I'm not in it to win it. I'm gonna go do Medicare, lone wolf, build up a book of business by myself, and you'll never see me again. And that's exactly what I did. I just took my work ethic from final expense to Medicare, running face-to-face appointments, doing direct mail exclusively outside Nashville, Tennessee. And I wrote 600 plans my first 12 months, right?
Nice.
Well, that FMO broke the record, quickest to 400 clients, which took 7 months, and then most in their first 12 months, which is phenomenal. But this is where we get into MediZeus is I write 600 people, and I find out that 100 to 120 of them left my book of business that year. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are these people leaving? And okay, I called a couple of them after they disenrolled, right? And I'm like, what happened? They're like, I didn't disenroll. I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. And I know how the data works because if you go into Medicare.gov, I don't know if your agents use it or you do any training on it, but you can see their current plan. And if they're signed up for a future plan, you can see their future plan. So I'm like, okay, the data's here. It's in CMS. Why can't I find out? And then I'm looking at Humana, and Humana has a future term report. I don't know if you know that, but you go into Humana Advantage and you can go under reports and you can see all your customers. And there's a report that literally says future term, and it tells you if your people are ending at the end of the month or the end of the year, if it's during AEP. And I'm saying to myself, okay, there's got to be some software out there that'll show me this cross-carrier, so it's not just limited to Humana, and it'll show me the future plan. And it didn't exist. I'm like, okay, I need to build that for myself because I need to create it for myself, and then maybe I can show it to other agents, right? But if I can build it for less than 30 grand, because that's how much 100 clients in a year is basically 30 grand.
Yeah.
If I can build it for less than 30 grand for myself, then it's going to be profitable.
Right.
So, yeah, we ran the prototype. I had a developer build a prototype. It wasn't compliant, right? But I was just using it for myself, just see if I could get it to work. And that first prototype was able to be run for the first time December 8th of 2022. It's just over a year ago. It was the day after AEP because I'm working with my developer. I'm like, dude, I need this before December 7th. Couldn't get it done. Didn't work. Finally got it December 8th. Okay, whatever. And Justin, I had 24 people leaving.
From people that you had basically just written in AEP.
No. My entire book.
You're 24.
Yeah.
For that month, December, going January 1st, 24 people were leaving it that month. Got it.
Yeah. And I saved 8 of them, in the next 2 days.
Nice.
I'm like, whoa, this works. I showed it to my upline. Ethan had 34 people leaving, and he saved 12 of them that week. And he's like, oh, dude, you're onto something. Like, we got something here. This is dynamite. Each one is worth $300 for the next year. And if you talk about LTV, which we'll talk about, which I'd like to talk to you more about on this podcast, that's like $1,000 each person because you're going to save them for this year, but they're going to stay on the books for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So you save 8 people, that's like $8 grand right there.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about MediZeus is you could literally watch this podcast right now, sign up for MediZeus, run the full thing in 10 minutes. And by the end of the hour, you could save 5 people that you didn't know were leaving. But Ethan was the one that was like, dude, you got to get this approved with CMS. You got to get some sort of API or automation so that you can scale it. And then you got to be able to sell it to other agents. Not so you can sell it, but to help seniors and to help agents with their retention. Yeah. And there's levels to this shit because it's more than just retention, right? We built it. But myself being the founder, lawyer, developers, customer service, but MediZeus, we built this initially for retention to help agents with commission. And then we realized, okay, well, the seniors really like it too because the seniors get flipped a lot less when agents use it properly. Mm-hmm. And so if you have MediZeus and you talk to your client and you're like, hey, Miss Jones, I got this new software that's going to let me know if you get flipped. So I'm going to be your agent. I'm going to make sure you don't go anywhere. You know what that client's going to say? Oh, good. The first 2 words out of their mouth are going to be, oh, good. Yeah. So clients love it. And then you let me know when you want to take back the reins. But on top of that, the carriers love it because we have a complaint issue. And who has to pay to investigate claims? I mean, complaints.
The agent, really.
No. The carrier.
The carrier, right? Yeah.
Right. CMS. Okay, so if we like dial it back, like if we look at it from a 10,000-foot view, CMS has two tools to regulate complaints: adding a law or taking a law away. But CMS doesn't have the ability to create a software program that'll fix things, right?
Right.
So they create a law and they put it into statutory law through their legislature, and then the carrier has to. They're the executive branch, right? So CMS is the judicial and the legislative. The legislative proposes a new rule, then they vote on it, which is judicial, but they're not executive. The carriers are executives. Now they penalize and sanctuate, the carriers, but the carriers are the ones that enforce to the agents. So the carriers are the ones that have to listen to the call recording, to ask you the question, get the agent statement on all the complaints. Well, that takes time, and time is money, right? So for each carrier, I don't know what the number is, they'll have it internally, but for each carrier, there's a dollar amount of how much a complaint costs them. The same way that we have a dollar amount for each lead, or cost per acquisition. They have a cost per complaint. And I don't know what that number is, but it totally went up when they enacted the call recording. Because before, you had somebody in the compliance department of United Healthcare that had to call up the beneficiary, get their statement, understand what's going on, then go to the agent, go back. But now they have to listen to a 45-minute, hour-long phone call. And it's not like AI. I mean, AI maybe could listen to it and pick out the best parts, but then again, we're talking about protected health information, PHI, falls under HIPAA. That AI program's going to be more expensive if they even use one. So now, like, the time that it takes to investigate a complaint for the carrier doubled, tripled. Yeah. That's money. Right? Yeah. So the cost per complaint doubled or tripled. So now the carriers are like, well, geez, that affects our bottom line. So not only is MediZeus first and foremost a win for the agent because it helps with the retention. It's a win for the Medicare beneficiary because they're not getting switched as much. It's a win for the carrier because the carrier is like, oh shit, if we can reduce complaints from this means that means of MediZeus, call recording, whatever it might be, we're a fan of it. And then CMS is like, oh, if this reduces complaints, then it helps us with our program because it means that Medicare is working better. Yeah. So that's I didn't mean to do that. That's a super long-winded answer to how I got into it and why MediZeus exists.
No, I love it, man. I wasn't going to interrupt you because it's a good starting point, A to B, in talking about, or A to Z, talking about, where you started and how you got there. And, entering Medicare, and first of all, doing 600, right out of the gate like that is awesome. And 120, falling off, it's pretty standard. And it's crazy that we as an industry have accepted that as like a known variable versus, creating a tool. And I was very surprised, like when I first saw MediZeus, that some of the software companies that exist haven't already done some of this stuff. And it's, but there's so many software programs that you would think that exist, or you would think that would be better than the kind of lackluster solution that currently exists. But the hard part, big hard part of it is, with most of these software programs, is the communicating with the appropriate APIs and the data feed. But if I'm uploading the client data, which I want to talk to you about, just because might be some confusion on what actually has to go into MediZeus. But like, if I'm uploading the client data and then it's communicated with CMS, then I don't need the carrier's feeds to protect my own book of business because I'm putting in the before data. We're looking for the after data.
Exactly.
We want the after data to match the before data. If it doesn't, then that's the report that spits out where the mismatches are.
Exactly.
So what data has to go into MediZeus to actually spit out that report?
Yeah, you need two fields, MBI and date of birth. And we just do an eligibility check on them in bulk.
So theoretically, someone could get it to where the only data that's going into MediZeus is the MBI and date of birth. And then if that's not enough, as we were talking, you were talking about some of the third-party verification and things you guys have gone through to make sure that the system is one is gotten some approval or eyeballs looked at from CMS now, but then also the third party compliance from like a data security, which is something that you've kind of went on the extreme, like it's gotten jumping through tons of hoops to make sure that the data is extremely secure.
Yeah, because that's the biggest thing is it's almost a no-brainer. Like, what's the catch with MediZues? You're going to save us this amount of money with retention. Are you going to sell my clients that I upload as leads to other agencies? Yeah. One user was like, do you run a call center? I'm like, nope, don't run a call center. I'm actually barely producing. I'll handle referrals and stuff, but MediZeus is doing so well that it's taking up most of my time, unfortunately.
Well, and I can speak to that too, because we get some of the same things when people talk about GoGuru. There are some built-in laws like antitrust and FTC regulations that the creating of a product, importing data from people, and then using it for purposes that weren't intended for. There are some just built-in general regulations.
Right.
But then you've taken it a step further to get additional data, data security scrutiny as well. Just to kind of really drive home the fact that that's not. And we've told people that with GoGuru is like the GoGuru in itself is a profitable business. MediZeus is a profitable business. So I think to anybody that was concerned, that would be concerned about their data being used. Most of these same people have a third-party CRM already.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is, with any CRM, you got to be careful. You can't be too careful. But I mean, if somebody's committing fraud and taking your data, one, that's illegal. But two, we provide the exact service that's going to prevent your clients from being switched, right? So we show you when your client's getting switched, and we show you where they're going.
Yeah. So if you're using MediZeus effectively, and let's say somebody was doing that with your data, MediZeus is the tool that would actually prevent them from doing that. So it's
correct.
So like to think that MediZeus would also be trying to do this. Well, why would it? Because those would be terrible leads if those people were actually using MediZeus effectively.
Oh yeah,
because they're like unchangeable without without some sort of client retention aim there.
Yeah. So but just to speak to the security standpoint, we're audited by a third party, Vanta. Vanta audits like Crunchbase. They audit. I think they audit like Zoho, and I don't know if they do Salesforce too. But I mean, if you go on Vanta.com, VANTA, you can see like all the companies that they audit. So they're like, we could have gone with a lower tier one that was less expensive, but I was like, no, just like we're gonna go above and beyond, completely like abolish any sort of hesitation or any concern that an agent would have. So we're audited by them for HIPAA compliance and SOC 2. So HIPAA just means that all the PHI is correctly protected, and we have internal security measures. There's 158 security measures that we'd have to abide to, and we're constantly monitored by Vanta. And not only that, but if you go to the bottom of MediZeus.com, we have a trust and security page where you can literally see all the tests that are being done in real time on our system by Vanta to make sure that it's the highest quality security compliance that you could possibly have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Love it. Well, it sounds like an awesome partnership. You guys are involved in Medicarecon this year, which I'm super appreciative of. I think that's going to be a great place for you. I'm really excited. There's a couple sponsors like yourself that are software solutions that to different problems that the industry is facing, and a couple as well as another group that's coming have solutions to current problems. Yours is a current problem. Another solution we talked to yesterday or last week has a solution to a potential problem due to the CMS regulations for enrollment software. But anyway, like it's just cool to see Medicarecon get to become like this hub of like, let's bring these people together and use the innovation and collective minds and working together to solve the problems of the industry. And I almost feel like we wouldn't be getting CMS breathing down our neck quite as much right now if we would have had this collective innovation that's, from people like you guys, and multiple people in the industry now, really getting together. And it's not to say there weren't innovators before, but I think that the community and the list scarcity mindset of the marketplace of thinking like, hey, how can we all work together and solve problems, right? And the problem that you're solving, I would assume that there's probably people that have already approached to try to buy the entire software program outright so that they can hoard it. I can just imagine that in our current environment. But thankfully, you've really taken the approach to keep it direct to the individual agent and broker versus tying it up with, FMOs or selling it off to someone else. So
yeah.
Tell me about that decision, because I know that it can be tempting, like to flip something for that much money. Is it that you believe in the revenue model and or that you're just more passionate about or enjoy more the process of letting the software tool be used how you intended to use it for yourself?
I'm not in it for the money. I mean, money's great, right? I mean, it's not like we're profitable. We're totally in the red.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing cost, I think the number is like 5 times more than I thought it was going to cost.
Yeah.
So like, you don't want to know what my bank account was like when we launched. But I'm like, we're solving a huge problem. It's going to be totally fine, right? And we're still climbing our way back. So don't buy MediZues right now because it isn't profitable yet. You'd have to, But it's going to be, it's a wonderful solution.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I took all my renewals and just put it into this thing. So yeah. With that being said, it's funny that you mentioned the whole buyout thing because literally, we launched October 1st, so we're relatively new. We built it, and took like a year. Like the next week, like a week before AEP started, huge Joe Namath company comes, and they're like, hey, can we run 150,000 people a day on this? And I'm like, let me get back to you. Because the whole thesis of MediZeus was, hey, give it to independent agents. Independent agents, in my respect, and nothing against LOA or the teles, nothing like that. But independent agents and not call centers better service clients. So empower the independent agent who's responsible for their retention, and everybody wins. It's a win-win-win. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, because basically, when we had talked before, I think you really, there's people are going to throw money at you to use the tool. Not to make it as cliche as for good versus evil, but we're all fighting the large call centers that, whether they're doing things compliantly or legally or not, may be debatable, but certainly there's some tacky things that are going on in operations that size, and this solves that problem, which makes it better for the beneficiary, the carrier, everybody else. If they start using it negatively, then it actually probably exacerbates all those problems and only benefits them, right? Yeah. So I think that we're one of those marketplaces as agents and brokers that really the ceiling isn't there's no ceiling, but I guess the entry to what we do isn't very high. So people can get into this marketplace, they can build great businesses. It's still kind of the American dream marketplace. I've referenced it several times as finance, insurance, real estate, right? You can get into those segments of the marketplace and do really well. And I think the large conglomerates that normally aren't even ran by people that, like how you started as an agent life, then you moved to Medicare, then you become a software guy. These guys, like you're talking when you say Joe Namath, when these different types of companies that are out there, most of the time are started by people that the people that are on it and the primary benefactors, if I went and tried to ask them to just explain Medicare to me, they wouldn't know. Ooh. They don't know much about it. And I've met these people. Some of the guys at that very company, for instance, one of their shareholders that sold to them, that's one of the collective shareholders of that company that I know is a good friend of mine. I like the guy. But he'd sold one policy ever, and it was through a chat bot that he created years ago. It was in the under 65 marketplace. And he told me that. He was sitting in a hot tub when he did it. That's what he told me, And
wait, he was sitting in a hot tub when the policy was sold?
Yeah.
Or he told you this when he was in a hot tub?
No, he was sitting in a hot tub when the policy was sold, is what he told me.
Oh.
and he was like on his laptop, like trying to do it, and his developers had created this, back when people were first kind of doing some virtual sales stuff, and but anyway, they just don't. They know CPAs, LTV math, and the infrastructure, call center operations. Pump a bunch of people in here, lead flow, just throw it all in there and just see what sticks. And in some I guess, there's some marketplaces that maybe that works, I guess, but I just, and I hate the term, when we get references to call centers sometimes because I have a lot of people on the phones, right? But like we operate differently. So I like a hybrid model, but there's some of these like true bang the phones call centers, throw old opt-in data to a Pakistani offshore call center and have them rewarm it and transfer them back. Mm-hmm. The people they're getting are sometimes have dementia. And I love the question that you're supposed to ask a Medicare beneficiary: do you make your own healthcare decisions? Well, somebody that has dementia would tell you that they do.
Yeah, that's a interesting question. Yeah.
So it's like, how am I supposed to? How would I? If I have to ask you if you make your own healthcare decisions so that I can get a compliant yes. If someone didn't make their own healthcare decisions, they seem like they would be very likely to not tell the truth or not know the correct answer.
Did you commit this crime? No, officer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, okay, good. Okay,
yeah,
so it's not him, guys.
That's what it feels like. So, but and that's what they're doing. So, and I've sat through several of these calls with the largest call centers in the country where I'm, let myself kind of get past there as a lead and talk to them. And we've all probably heard some of these recordings that are out there. And it's not that I think that most of them are like on the phones, like trying to rip people off. It's that their training is poor. Some of them are probably like will bend the truth to get a sale, and then, but then a lot of them are just trained really heavily to just shove everybody into X type of plan, change them for one benefit in spite of losing another. And that's just become a huge problem with that. And that's the problem with the Medicare Advantage marketplace. So I think that MediZues is a cool tool. And so we're excited, at Medicarecon and getting it, going with Go Guru and us being able to offer it to people. And we have a partnership too, where we're going to help get people signed up because Evan, full transparency, I have an affiliate agreement with Evan, and we get people to sign up. We get a commission off of the an affiliate commission. Most of you are familiar with affiliate commissions, but an affiliate commission off of signing people up. But if you've watched us long enough, we don't take endorsements from people that it isn't a product that we will use ourselves, So anytime we've done like carrier endorsements or sponsorships at Medicarecon, or even like we've done some podcast sponsorships, things like that, we've never done it with anybody that is not a program that we actually sign off on. So,
amen.
And MediZues is one of those that's easy for us to promote. So thank you for taking the time, man, and being here, and thank you for being at Medicarecon. And if you guys want to reach out to Evan, best thing to do is come to Medicarecon because he's going to be there. He's 100%. Probably going to be doing some presentations there, and definitely going to be approachable and be able to head up to the booth and learn, ask any questions you have. But also in the comments below this video, wherever you're watching, if this is on Instagram, if you're watching it on Facebook, if you're watching it on YouTube, comment below, ask a question. If we see it and we don't know the answer, we'll loop him back in. And also in the description, wherever you're watching this, probably in the YouTube description, we'll have a link that is our affiliate link. If you want to sign up, we would love to get you to sign up through our link. And if you have questions about how we're using MediZues or how we plan to use MediZues, please comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and talk to you soon.
Thanks, Joseph.
This is the greatest conference all time. It's like nothing I've seen before. Coming back next year. The business is rapidly changing, and if you're not educating yourself, you're going to be left behind.
Great thing about Medicarecon and really any of these types of events, this one's so big, is you have all these people from chasing different pursuits in their business coming together and joining and sharing information. That's the best part of this. The conversations I've had with these guys right here, things that I wouldn't get just talking on the phone or anything like that. And the content here, it's been awesome. And Justin's done a great job, man.